Reel him in. Really? Don't let that fish pull you in the water. Get him in. Whoa. Whoa, come over here. All right, reel him in right here. Whoa.
I catch me one.
Welcome to the Management Advantage, where we want to help you gain the advantage through proper land management. With your hosts, Richard Tharp and Chuck Sykes, who are dedicated to sound wildlife management practices and principles that will help both landowners and sportsmen get the optimum potential from their land. The Management Advantage, brought to you by Hunters Tech, C&S Wildlife Services, Green South Land and Timber, The Game and Kudzu, and by Easy Go Workhorse, a whole different kind of animal.
Beautiful out here this evening, isn't it?
They already boiling the bank right down there too. Let's hurry up and get in that boat.
That's what we want. That's what we want. Welcome to the Management Advantage. Today we want to focus on pond management.
You know, recreation is the most important thing, in my opinion, about building a pond. I like to fish, but unfortunately, most people don't manage their ponds properly. They don't think about it. They just put the fish in and let it go. So on today's show, we want to give you a few tips to help you make your pond more productive.
Well, let's go fishing, and y'all hang with us, and we'll be right back.
Don't go away. Chuck and Rick will be right back.
All right. All right, I'm in. Ooh, that boat bigger on that end.
What you want to fish with, that rooster tail?
Yeah, I want that rooster tail.
Have at it. I think I'm gonna try a cricket.
Uh-oh. There's one already. Well, Chuck, to get fish like this in here, I mean, what's the first step you have to do?
Well, the first thing I want to look at when I go into a pond, a new pond, it's just like a food plot. You got to have the lime and fertilizer right, or you're not going to be able to grow anything.
Yeah.
So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the pH to see how much lime I need. Look at that
Ooh,
big
isn't that a
old
pretty
brown.
fish?
All right.
That is a nice size one right there.
Well, that's a good fertilization program right there. Big old bluegill.
I was with you when we took the soil samples and did all that for food plots, but how do you go about that for a pond?
Well, unless you want to go swimming, you need to get you a pole with a little scoop on the end of it, and you can actually take some of the soil off the bottom of the pond, dry it out, put it in our soil sample boxes just like we did for the food plot, and send it into the extension service. Or the easiest way to do it is just get you a little cup full of water and send it in, and they can do an alkalinity test on it, which is going to do the same thing as finding your pH. Because if the pH is in the right range, your alkalinity is going to be in the right range. So that way you don't have to worry about getting the soil, drying it out, and sending it off. You can just send them a little vial of water, take them 2 minutes to run a test on it, and they can let you know if you need lime or not.
Well, now that Chuck's explained to us that we have to have a pH sample, it makes a little more sense why he gave me this bottle when we first got in the boat. This is all you have to do to get your pH sample. Take your bottle, just get you some of your pond water, fill out your forms, and it's ready to go. And that's all there is to it. Well, Chuck, all right, once we do that and we get it back, then what's our next step?
Well, your next step is to actually put the lime in the pond. Now you can do that several different ways. they have pontoon boats that are more like a barge than a pontoon, and you just dump lime on the front of it, go all over the pond, because you've got to distribute that lime all over the pond where it reacts with the soil in the bottom, just like on your food plot. And they carry it all over the pond and dump it off. The best way to do it is before you fill the pond up, is to get spreader trucks to go around and cover the bottom, so you're in good shape before the water ever comes in it. And what we had to do with this pond here, the water was already in, and the barge is a little more expensive, so what we did is we just got our spreader truck, closed one side of it off, and we've got good roads around our ponds, and we just covered it that way.
Talking about the roads around your pond and doing it that way. To me, you need that around your pond just to keep it where you can keep it clean down, so you don't have to worry about snakes and
Right,
things
you can
like
keep
that.
it bush hogged, and it gives us a good way around here, especially if you've got kids and you don't want them out in the boat. They can walk around the bank and you don't have to worry about them getting snake bit.
Oh, these brim are fun to catch, aren't they?
Yep, I don't know if this is a brim or a bass. I believe this might be a bass. Yep,
Little old bass.
yep. He likes crickets just like those brim do.
Well, Chuck, now that we've got the pH, test back and we've got it lined, what's our next step?
Well, now that we've got the pH right where our fertilizer will take place and do a good job, then the next step is fertilization. Because to have the pond productive, we've got to produce a bunch of algae in here, which fancy name for it's planktonic algae. And that's what the brim feed on and the little bass fry. And that's the bottom line of the food chain. Without that, nothing else has anything to eat. We've got to grow the little bitty microscopic organisms to feed the little fish, and the little fish feed the big fish, and so forth and so on. So fertilizer is the key for a pond producing like it should.
All right, you say fertilizer. I mean, I know we took soil samples when we did the food plots for fertilizer, but what do you do for a pond?
Well, how you determine whether you need fertilizer and when you need it is by using an instrument called a Secchi disc. There you go.
Yeah, another one of the little bass.
I made one out of just a milk carton. All it is a round disc that's got 4 quarters, 2 black and 2 white, so you can see the contrast. And you stick that disc, put it on the end of a yardstick, and you stick it down into the water, and you take readings as to how far down you can see the disc. If the pond is fertilized properly, the disc will disappear anywhere from 18 to 24 inches. Anything over, if you can see that disc past 24 inches, you need to fertilize. If you can't see it less than 18 inches, you got too much fertilizer in there, and you better not put any more, because that algae will deplete all oxygen in the pond. It'll kill your fish. Now, once you determine that you've got to have the fertilizer, then the next problem starts is picking out which fertilizer to use. And there are all kind of fertilizers out there on the market, but what I like to use, it's simple and it gets a good bloom quickly, is a liquid fertilizer. You can use a slow release fertilizers, but you have to build a platform under the water, put it on the platform, because if you just let it go to the bottom, you're losing it. It has to dissolve in the water column. So I like to use that liquid.
Well, folks, as you can see, the Secchi disc went below 24 inches, so we do need fertilizer. So come go with Chuck as he shows you how to apply the fertilizer.
It's the end of March. You want to wait till the water temperature is around 60 degrees. Anything below 60 degrees, the fertilizer does not take. So wait till it warms up in late spring before you apply your fertilizer. The best time of day to apply it is around noon, when the sun's as high as it's going to get, the day is as hot as it's going to get. When you put it out, the sun will react with the fertilizer and make a good algae bloom. The fertilizer we're going to be using today is a Whopper Grower 1034O. Now, we have it in a 500-gallon drum, and we just take it out in 5-gallon increments. It makes it easier for us. but you can order this whopper grower straight from the factory. They can send it to your farm in 5-gallon buckets. Now the way we go about applying the fertilizer, today we're going to use just a flat bottom boat with a trolling motor. And since the fertilizer is heavier than water, you want to pour it over into the propeller and let it disperse it. If you just pour it straight over in, all your fertilizer is going to the bottom and you're just wasting it. You can also mix it in a 5-gallon backpack sprayer, dilute it with water if you've got a real small pond, and just go around the edges and spray your fertilizer in. Give it a week to 10 days. Check the color of the water again. If it doesn't take, you might have to shock it again. It usually takes 2 or 3 applications to get a good bloom on it, and then it's just maintenance. If you get a big rain, it'll wash some of it out and you might have to come back and treat again.
Don't go anywhere. The Management Advantage is coming right back.
What you got?
I don't know. Probably a little bag.
If that's a brim, it's an award winner.
It is a brim.
Is it?
Yes, sir. Look at that.
That is one fine bluegill.
Look how thick right there. That's what it's all about. Now that's what you want to manage for. You got one too?
Well, I don't know. I might. Nah, I got a little bass.
You
But this is a good comparison. This right there, leaving all these little guys in there, that's what produces those big brim like that. Proper liming and fertilization, leaving these little bass in where it can be a little bit bass crowded, and that is the result right there. Look at the size of that bluegill.
I mean, look at that. That's big as my hand. Look how thick. Yes, sir. That's what you want right there.
I might have to put a rooster tail on instead of my cricket. Let me get out of your way.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna tell you what, we've noticed in here today, we've been getting some nice bluegill. We're getting some, smaller sized bass. We haven't got anything really big or anything. But what's the management for that?
Well, the reason that we've got all these little bass is because we are managing this pond for large brim. So what we're doing is we're allowing the pond is actually bass crowded. That way all of these little bass are eating up brim until they get about that size right there that you just caught. So we've got fewer brim in here because of the amount of bass, but we got those big bluegill in here and big
these have
shell
been some
crackers.
nice ones, yes.
So your management practices is just like anything else. We've got a bass pond below here. We've got a brim pond here. In our bass pond, we take out more bass to try to get it, instead of catching these, 6 to 24-inch bass, we're 24 inches or above. So what you take out in your harvest determines, your management plan as to what you're wanting. We want large brim in this pond, so we're leaving a lot of the small bass in there where we've only got a few brim, but they are good size.
That's pretty good. I like what you said there about having more than one pond, doing one for brim and one for bass, and you got the best of both worlds.
Now that we've got the pond limed and fertilized, another important feature of a pond is the structure that's found in it. Rick, I know you've put trees in ponds before too, so.
Oh yeah. That's, there's really several ways you can do this. A lot of people like to take their Christmas trees, go around the neighborhood and get them up. One thing is you need to let them dry out good, get all that sap out before you set them out. Another thing is people like to take, like when they're clearing up the yard, say the limbs and all that.
Well, we got a bunch of peach trees out here, and when we have an old peach tree that goes out, we like to put those peach trees in. Anything that'll just give those little fish something to hide by, and you can either do this after the pond's established like we do every year, or you can go in prior to the water coming in, and you can go on and build humps and rock piles and stump piles and things like that. Structure just adds to the productivity of the pond.
Well, if you're building a pond, that's the best thing to do, but if, like I say, you come in on a pond like this, it's already established, You can add the different structure because all you're really wanting to do is provide an area so the bait fish can hide from the big fish. The big fish gonna hang around waiting for the bait fish to come
something to
out.
catch, something to cast for, where those fish are gonna be sitting there waiting.
I've seen the days when it gave me something to hang up on, is all it did too. Uh-oh, what have you got?
I don't know, you might need to get the dip net on this one. Watch out now.
I ain't talking about no dip net. Here, give me the paddle. You play with the fish.
I got him.
You got it?
I got him.
All right.
Look at him pulling that. Uh-huh.
Ooh. Now that is a pretty one. That's a good one right there.
That's a big old female there. You notice that one that you caught was dark. This one's light. That's a big old female. Look at the size of her.
That's what we're after. He might not be big, but it's fun.
Oop, I got one too.
Oh yeah.
Another little old bass. Folks, one thing you need to do, probably once every 2 years or so, is get someone to check the balance of your pond so you can make sure that your management program is working the way it's supposed to.
Well, how do you go about doing that now?
Well, you can get someone to come in with a shocking boat and shock to check to see if the fish are reproducing like they're supposed to. Or the easiest thing to do is you can get an extension agent or someone from the state to come out, and they just take a 14-foot seine and go around the bank and check the reproductive capacity of the pond. They just seine around, pull it up on the bank, and measure the sizes of the little fish that they catch, so they can see if the brim are reproducing, if the bass are reproducing, and depending on your management strategy, the sizes of what you're catching will determine what's going to be in the pond. If you pull up little brim this big and nothing this size or this size, then you know that you've got a bass crowded pond because they're eating them all up, which is what you would find if you were in this pond. Now in our bass pond down there, you're going to find brim 1 inch long, 2 inches long, 3 inches long, because we've got more food in there. We're taking more fish out, so it's letting those brim get at all the different sizes that we need to feed our bass.
Lord, I got a nice one here.
He's pulling the boat.
Well, I'm still working him.
What you got, bass or brim?
Oh, brim. When a brim can pull a boat, like I say, using this light tackle, you have to be careful with them, and you just don't snatch them in here. Another female.
Don't go away. Chuck and Rick will be right back.
All right. Go to show you, we're using crickets. You're fishing with a cricket on a cork, a foot or two deep. I'm sitting here fishing with a rooster tail, and it's just back and forth, back and forth. I mean, it's neither one's. I mean, it's just, there again, we're back to that light line scenario, light tackle, and you put about 4 pound to 6 pound test line on a little old Zebco 33 and a 1/8 ounce, 16th ounce rooster tail, and you can throw that thing halfway across this pond, and when they hit it, they just all but hook themselves. And it's a great way for children because, you got a pole, they can learn to cast. It's just a...
And don't forget cane pole fishing.
Oh.
I enjoy getting a cane pole and a bucket of crickets and sitting on the bank and catching brim.
Well, most of the time when we're doing something like that, it's not so much the fishing, it's just the afternoon, the companionship, the having a nice
socializing portion of it.
That's it. You catch a few fish, that makes it even better.
It's as long as you don't have to clean them when you get through with it.
That's the good thing about the catch and release program.
That's right.
No cleaning. That's a nice fish, but another little old small brim. But look at all this stuff on top of the water. It's coming on the reel, it's on my lure, on everything.
It's supposed to be. That's the algae. That's what we're trying to grow.
Huh. This show is making a mess.
That's what it's supposed to look like. Get that nice green bloom on there. You know, a fertilized pond will outproduce a non-fertilized pond by 200 or 300 pounds of fish a year per acre now.
Per acre?
Per acre. That's how much.
That's a lot.
Just
of
putting in
fish.
a few gallons of fertilizer a year will do for your pond production.
Tell you, I really like these rooster tails.
They are some deadly, deadly little baits. I just like fishing. I like seeing that bobber go down. I can't help it.
I tell you something I like to do when the mayflies are out. I like to get me a cork and run about 2 or 3 foot up my line, and then just tie a regular fly rod fly on behind it and throw it out there and reel through.
Yep.
And I mean, you don't have to know anything about what you're doing to catch fish at that time.
Well, you ought to be wearing them out then.
Oh, now, don't go there. Do me like that. Folks, we hope you've enjoyed today's show. I know we've certainly had a good time, and we hope you have too.
Folks, in addition to seeing some nice bluegill caught today, we hope that you can take away some of these tips, carry them home to your pond to help make your pond more productive. And we hope this is just one more way that we're helping you gain the advantage through proper management.
See you next time
On the Management Advantage.
I saw one turn right over there.
Thank you for watching The Management Advantage, where we are dedicated to helping you gain the advantage through proper management. If you would like a wildlife analysis done on your property, please contact us through our website at wildlife-management.com and join us next time on The Management Advantage.
Notice what's around. It is absolutely beautiful.
Oh my goodness, picked me clean and didn't even know it. That's a good one to quit on.
Yep, that's a good. Notice you heard him get the bank so I quit catching fish.